Yeah, he's starting. Man, I never know what to start off with. It's only me and you now, Joe.
Then there was two.
Then there was two. Me and Joe. Hey guys, episode 6? 6? I think it's 6. All right, question number 1. It's from Antonio Rangel. He asks about motion sickness. He says he has motion sickness on boats. Would it affect him on a carrier, and do they rock back and forth drastically?
Well, you were on the carrier, so you tell me about the carrier.
Yeah, well, on a carrier, basically, the only time I felt anything, you can feel a little bit if you really want, if you're really trying to. I don't know. You can't really feel anything. You can't really feel anything on a carrier. You can feel something if you're in a big storm. That's about it. Now on a small boy.
Say I was on an amphib and then a supply ship, and you could feel the oceans and the weather.
Yeah. So frigates, cruisers, destroyers, amphibs.
Yeah. There are big deck amphibs too that are smaller carriers.
Yeah.
I've rode on one of those. I was in the station on one, and you could still feel the water. And I have seen guys get motion sickness. Now I had seen guys that have been in for 15 years get sick in a storm.
Yeah.
And it happens. I never got it. Even as a kid, I would go on small fishing boats, and
I went on a small boy once. I went on a small boy actually a couple times for like 2 or 3 weeks, and you can feel it. You can feel it on a small boy. If you're going to be stationed on a frigate, destroyer, cruiser, anything like that, you will feel it day to day, especially in a storm or when you're doing high maneuver turns. What are those called? Like no, I don't know. There's something when they do high maneuver turns. There's a special word for that. But you'll feel it like when I was in a storm on a small boy. My friend was, and he was telling me how you can walk on the walls basically. How there's so much tilt on the ship that you're walking on the walls.
And you kind of space your time out, like, is it rocks?
Yeah.
Is that when you take 5 steps?
Yeah.
Take 5 steps.
Now on a carrier, they don't have on a small boy, they have in the bunks and the racks, they lock you in. They have like a strap.
Yeah, you
strap yourself in. On a carrier, you don't strap yourself in because, like I said, on a carrier, you're not going to feel anything unless you literally in a monsoon or a hurricane or a big ass storm. Because I was in a storm 2 or 3 times on my deployments. And you will feel it on a carrier in a storm. And the water was coming over the bow. The storm was so big, the waves were splashing over the bow of the carrier, and that's 90 feet high. So, huge waves. Yep. And if you do get motion sickness, they do have, you can go to medical.
You can get Dramamine, things like that.
What is it, Dramamine?
Dramamine.
You can get medicine for that, but like they won't give you SIQ for motion sickness. You'll have to tough it out. Yeah, they're not going to give you second quarters. You're not going to be able to go to your bunk and lay down. You're still going to have to work. But they'll give you medicine.
You do get used to it, though. I mean, I can't think of how people in the Navy. Just anytime you think something's going to be hard when you go, especially in the Navy, just think how many people did it before you.
Yeah.
And it makes it seem a lot less, difficult, not as big of a mountain to climb. So just think of how many people are doing it now, how many people did it before you. You can do it too. You could definitely do any of these things. It's one thing I always try to keep in mind.
Yeah, and a carrier is so huge. You're very safe. You're very, very safe, and especially because you were up on the bridge, so you know how smart. There's really good people up there that are directing the ship, and you're making sure you're sometimes. But like you got to make sure, right? Like you're hitting the waves the right way. Like you're.
That is a technique that they do look at, and you have to make sure you're going. We'll say with the grain of the ocean. Otherwise, you don't want to be hit broadside by some of these waves. Because I've had that happen too, where
you got hit
you're just standing there, and all of a sudden,
boom!
Yeah, they took a weird turn, and you just kind of.
Yeah, I mean you're on a ship, you're on a boat, you're gonna feel it. Like I said, if you have a lot of motion sickness, try to get on a carrier. Because day-to-day life on a carrier, normal seas, you're not going to feel anything. It's like living on a big city. But when it's rocky and when the ocean's powerful, yeah, Mother Nature don't mess around. That'll move that carrier like that. You'll feel it, definitely. Yeah. All right.
If you're worried about seasickness that much, though, you probably want to stay away from a a branch like the Navy or even the Coast Guard.
Yeah, I mean,
especially a seagoing rate. And if it's that big of a concern,
yeah,
the Army might be for you.
Yeah, maybe think about not a different branch, because yeah, you're gonna.
Even the Marines will embark on a ship. So.
Yeah, even Marines, they'll go on amphibs or other types of ships.
Mm-hmm.
But mostly most people get deployed on some type of ship.
Mm-hmm.
Most people in the military. There's certain rates that don't, that are more likely not to, but still, you're still probably gonna get on a ship. All right, so question 2 from Andre Jenkins: is the post 9/11 GI Bill is it an entitlement by law, or does it have to be in your contract? Well, the post 9/11 GI Bill is a benefit. It is something that they can't take away if you mess up.
It's given to you. It's not given to you by the military. It's given to you by the Department of Veterans Affairs after you get out.
After you get out, yeah.
You can lose it essentially by like a dishonorable discharge could discredit you from that. Usually it's anything like a other than dishonorable. Well, pretty much you can still use it.
Right, and you have to, if you're active duty, for most people, you have to serve. How many months is it?
I believe it was 36.
36 months.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have to serve your 36 months to be eligible for 100% of the post 9/11. There's also There's different ways to be eligible for 100% if you're not active duty, like reserves. If you're in the reserves, you can still be eligible for it if you get deployed for 90 days or more.
Percentages of the.
Yeah, there's a lot of different ways that you can be eligible for the post 9/11 if you're not active, but most people, if you serve your contract honorably, do your 4 years, and get out, you will have the post 9/11 GI Bill to use.
Yep, and then VA.gov is your best friend for looking at these benefits.
Yeah, VA.gov.
Straight from the horse's mouth. Don't take our word for it, someone else's word for it. Look it up yourself. VA.gov. If you're looking to use any of your benefits, that is a site you must learn to navigate.
I will link that. I'll put that in the description below, definitely, to check that, for you guys to check that website out. But yeah, cool.
Yep.
And the third question number 3 we have, was asked by, who was asked by? I don't know who it was asked by. I messed up the copy and paste, the copy pasta. Anyways, the third question, I'm sorry, whoever asked this. He wants to join as an officer, but maybe enlisted. He's not sure. He wants to know the differences between officer and enlisted, the different ways of life.
The going officer is like a management track. You're going to be starting in, they're going to teach you how to lead, essentially, and the enlisted is more of the worker track. You're going to learn the day-to-day, you're going to learn how to operate most of the stuff. Right. So it's completely different as far as that mindset goes, and then they will have more responsibilities and more leeway as far as your like living concerns.
Right.
But an E1 and an O1 are still going to both be at the bottom of their list when they go in.
Yeah, you're still at the bottom of the totem pole when you're joining as an O1. Because as an O1 or an O2, even an O3, you don't know that much. There's enlisted personnel, there's E6s, E7s, E8s, even E4s and E5s that'll know a lot more than you, and that you'll have to kind of, as an officer, you have to learn from those lower enlisted, junior enlisted as well.
I did a lot with my OS work where when the
because you worked a lot in the bridge, so you were up there with
and
a
right
lot
behind it in the Combat Information Center, and when the officers would learn basically getting their officer to deck qual, they would come to us for certain training.
They would come to the enlisted, yeah.
Yeah, so it was kind of a different, I mean, obviously they're still the officers, they're still, you call them sir, man, whatever, but they're kind of more in a learning role from there, and it's...
Right. That's where I wanted, you brought up a good point, too. I wanted to talk about the difference between being surface, like you were, your relationship with officers as being in the surface part of the fleet, and I was with the air wing. And I was aviation. So my relationship with my officers was a lot different than your relationship with your officers. I feel, well, mine was, with aviation, you're working, like, you're basically doing maintenance on that aircraft that the pilots are going and flying in. They're putting their life in your hands. And us junior enlisted E5s, E4s, E3s, doing all the little maintenance and day-to-day inspections and tasks. So the relationship that we have with officers, it's a lot more, not like casual, like you don't really, it's not all like, sir, ma'am, yes, sir, yes, ma'am. It's more like, hey, like, what's going on? Like,
that's how it is in a lot, though. I mean, it's still a day-to-day working
but, like, you can be, like, not friend, you can be friends. Like, you can be, have a good working relationship with the officers.
It's like having a supervisor in any job. There's gonna be that level of respect, but he's still day-to-day,
But there is a stigma, surface side of the fleet. They're a lot more, I mean, from my experience.
And environments, like with the captain and things like that, yes.
Yeah.
When you're dealing with the 01s, 02s, it's more, hey, what's up, sir? Like, it's not really the yes, sir, no, sir. It's...
Yeah, I mean, with anything, when you're talking to a captain or, an 05, 06, then it's more, I think that's going to wrap it up for today's video. We're a little undermanned. We're a little short-staffed at the moment, as you can see.
Just the two of us.
It's just the two of us. Who sings that? Is that Tom Selleck?
Yes, Tom Selleck. Yes.
I don't know, man. I'm 24. Alright, guys. So we will see you guys next week. Like always, leave comments and questions for next week's video that you would want us to answer. And we'll see you guys later. Later. I'm going to throw it. No, I'll end it before that. Alright, it's over. We're done.